This is a short stream before we go to Merced to get the cat. I am pretty tired in general. Not really feeling it, you know. But that's life in the big city. This is the big city, I guess. Well, we'll be going to the big city today. The big city of Merced to get our cat. I'm letting Rachel sleep in a bit before we do that. Because staying there watching me on TV. So there's not a whole hell of a lot going on here. I'm just kind of killing time until Rachel gets up. We'll give her another half an hour or so, then get her up. Then we'll go to Merced and maybe go through In-N-Out for lunch. And then we'll get some carts for Rachel at the weed store. Then we'll get the cat, you know. Hi, Guilt. Ayo, says Guilt. Hello to you. I think what I'll do is make some more coffee. Here in a second. What am I smoking on? It's just, I don't even know what strain it is exactly. It's just some weed we can find our wraps. So, fentanyl addict. Are you a fentanyl addict? 1111? I guess a lot of people get into that stuff. Personally, I've never tried it. And don't want to. But, you know, I'm not going to judge. So I'm just going to get this last cup of coffee that's in here already. Heat that up. And then I get making a new percolator for all right, let's go look in here at the chat. You like your dad, says Autism Unknown. Safe travels, pick up Katie. Thanks, Putty Cat. Y'all slept like a rock last night. Took a walk with a bunch of books in a backpack that I decided to carry around for if I suddenly decided to read one of them. English or Spanish? I speak a little bit of both. What do I think of cannabis? I think I'll pull another bong rip right now. That's what I think of cannabis. Oh, the coffee's cooking in the microwave. It's a good way to do this is to grind up your grinding and get a little spoon and you spoon it into your bowl every time. And then you get pretty clean pull throughs. The worst case scenario for me is when I don't pull the whole bowl all the way through for some reason. It's like too big or it gets clogged or whatever. Then those are the bong rips that make you cough for some reason. I don't know why it's that way, but it is that way. So yesterday was the first like full day off I've had in a while. I didn't do any live streaming at all. It had probably been 2 months since I'd taken a day completely off. Maybe over a month anyway. I don't know. I'm not exactly sure, but I think that worked out well, taking a day off, you know? Cool, thanks, Ruben. Deja vu blesses us. Of Jesus Christ of Palestine? But he can't make fun of me. You know how sensitive I am. I do recognize that Bali Music King hates all religions. Bathroom Sandwich says they can't find their sandwich. Matthew Delmonica says it's because they ate it. That's why. Well, of course there's no science to support that. There's no science to support the idea that we should make rules for other people regarding their health and stuff like that, you know? It seems to make some sense, you know? It makes some sense intuitively that if you're further away from other people, you're less likely to get a cold from them. But, I mean, whatever. Every religious person is a salesman of his product of God. It looks buffet for me. I'm religious and I'm not selling my God to anybody. I don't tell other people they should believe like I believe. You know, I do tell other people that they should have listened to me way back when about COVID. Someone's absconded with your sandwich? Wow. You have a fancy thief around. If they're absconding instead of just, running off with it, then you have a really fancy thief. Congratulations. No, I'm not Indiana Jones. I'm California Eric. I'm from the Golden State. In my church, God's Big Heaven Church, our selling point is that we promise that we have the biggest heaven, the newest heaven, the heaven you want to go to. Think about it. Think when Catholic heaven was built. It's not even wired at all. God's Big Heaven, we've got the biggest and best heaven of all of the Christian churches. No, it's a Christian heaven. Palestinians can make their own heaven. The Israelis might steal it from them, but, they need to make their own heaven. So anyway, that's the That's the advantage of joining my church, God's Big Heaven Church, is you get to have a modern heaven after you die. It's made recently, you know. There's plenty of room. You don't have to share a room with somebody like you do in Catholic heaven. Okay, you guys keep a lookout for ghosts while I go to the bathroom. If you see any ghosts, just shout it out to me so I can hear you, okay? What do you think the difference between a ghost and a ghoul is? Is there a difference? Or are those synonyms? Like I would say apparition is just a synonym for ghost. But ghoul's probably something different. Well, I think it's fair to say that I need to eat more prunes. That little teeny amount of poop I poop just barely even counts as a poop. I might as well just have peed. That little amount of poop I pooped. I mean, it's better than nothing. Okay. Well, all right. Let's do the coffee. Good. This part's already clean, so I don't have to do that first. I just have to do this part. All right, come along. We're going to do the coffee now. And it's going to be exciting for everybody. And when we're done doing the coffee, I'll go back in the living room and I'll read your chats. So I called the veterinarian this morning and confirmed that Trevor's ready to go home. Hi, Big Dog Mofo. Hi, Goblin. Hi, John. I didn't rinse this out. Now it's good enough. So what we're doing, we pick up Trouble by, they said pick them up before 4 o'clock, anytime before 4 o'clock. So I don't want to pick them up that late, but I'm going to make some coffee and got this door closed here so I don't hopefully bother Rick too much. Let her sleep down a little bit more. Then we'll go to Merced. Okay. Now we're going to move the coffee in here and start a new pot of coffee. Okay. All right, now let's put some coffee in. There. There. All right. We're done with that. Hi, Mr. Kartoffel. Hi, Cragglepuss the cat. No, I called ahead, Putty Cat, and he's ready to go home. You just been watching some of my skill markers. Well, I don't blame you. It's fun stuff. What's a DXM? Yeah, Rachel drank some smooth move tea last night, but I didn't. Did me saying Skindiana Bones trigger the skinwalking whistling comment in your mind? Y'all think coffee or Celsius is more healthy? Coffee. Kartoffels. What is Celsius? Bang makes me too anxious, which in turn worsens my psychosis. Sorry, Eric, if you answered this. I had to stop listening. Did the vet give you a positive update on trouble? Yes, he did. They said he's ready to go home and to pick him up anytime before 4 today. So we're gonna go get him, and he should be fine. Apparently everything's fine. You know, like I guess it did what it was supposed to do. You know, like drain, and then they took it out, and it's fine. I guess so. I don't know. Yeah, I'm happy about that. I'm just they didn't give me a lot of details, but I'm assuming that everything's fine since he's ready to go home. So I'm happy for Trouble. I'm happy he'll be coming back. I will say that Rachel and I have slept together all the nights that he's not been here. So there's one thing preventing my wife and I from sleeping in the same bed, apparently, really, and that's Trouble. When I walk into the bed, they're going to be like, we'll bring Trouble out in a minute. One of our assistants is currently watching him eat. Hilarious. Yo, it sounds to me that, like, the approach you're taking to your mental health is exactly what you oughtn't to be doing. You said you stopped taking your meds, you had all these various drug binges, and that's making all of the symptoms worse. Team DLZ24, am I the real life Ned Flanders? Or are you the real life Ned Flanders? You tell me. Anyway, at the moment, I'm more or less just waiting for Rachel to get up. So I think I'll give it another 15 minutes, which should give the coffee enough time to get ready. You're attempting to pull it together. Well, that's good. Joe H. says, good news, they got rid of paranoid schizophrenia as a diagnosis because of the catch-all for scary bad. And Big Dog Mofo says, oh, they got rid of it? Sweet, you're cured. I like that approach to the question. Closest thing to an actual South Park character? Ned Flanders isn't in South Park. What is DXM? Is that Robo tripping? Oh, okay. I've never done that before. Gil says, ever since I did DXN the last time, I felt like the effect never fully wore off. That doesn't sound like a good thing. I wonder if the store ever wondered, like, why are all these kids buying bottles of Robitussin? Do they all have a cough or what? HBR is what makes you not trip, I guess. So, okay. Well, I'm not planning on doing any robo tripping, so that's fine either way. Max647. Hopefully there aren't very many of you out there to unite. That's gross. HBR is what kills kids trying to trip on DXM nowadays. It causes a buildup in your brain. I watched the end of it. Rachel wasn't up for it. We were napping or something, and I saw that they lost. You can buy free base DXM tablets from Robocoff now. Rocking that fossilized Neanderthal puke look, Mirren lad. Okay. Yeah, I'm familiar with your brother Nick, Cheesy Logi. I'm very familiar with your brother Nick. He comes around here. So many people have the same brothers. It's amazing. Right. If they've got acetaminophen in it, then that will kill you because you drink too much of that acetaminophen and you destroy your liver. But I don't disagree. I don't doubt that Joe H is also correct about the HBR preventing the tripping part of DXM. Right now, the topic ABY99 is cough syrup, interestingly enough. this is not something that I've ever done to get high before, but apparently a lot of people have, you know. And so we're learning some of the risks about that, namely that you got to make sure the one that you take, if you're going to do that, it doesn't have this HBr in it, and that it doesn't have any acetaminophen in it. Because if it does, then it can be really bad for you. So that's one thing that we're learning today. I don't plan on doing that, but if you are or do, then keep that in mind. Make sure it doesn't have any HBr or acetaminophen in it when you take it. It's a worthwhile thing to convey as information for anybody who might be doing that to keep them safe. You know, it's important to avoid. Make sure there are no acetaminophen, because that's a very high toxicity. If you just take a little bit too much acetaminophen, it can be really bad for your liver. So, and then I've not heard of this other one before, HBR, but that's not good for you either. So that's what Joe says anyway. I take his word for it. I haven't looked it up or anything. So anyway, I don't take any of those Vicodins or any kind of opiate or opioid. So I'm happy about that. I know a lot of people end up getting addicted to those kind of drugs, like fentanyl and such. But it makes me wonder if you know, the way I take it, which is I don't take ever too much of it. I take like 2 Tylenols, but I do it maybe most days. I'll take a couple Tylenols at some point. Is that as bad as? Typically, I think it's just so. HBR is just an acid delivery of meds, says Joe H. It's the salt that it's bounded to. Okay. Well, I don't know all about that chemistry stuff. Do your research. Make sure whatever you're going to do, you're doing is safe. That's what I would say in general. And one tip that is definitely the case is do not take any of that DXM stuff that has acetaminophen in it. I see. What's the delivery mechanism of my Adderall that I'm taking right now? I've got the remnants of half an Adderall in between my cheek and gum here. I tend to take it that way because you max out the bioavailability that way, you know. If you melt it in your mouth. It tastes horrible, of course. Or anybody who's never tasted Adderall. Oh, it's terrible. It tastes like a chemical factory. But I wonder what the delivery mechanism for that is. Is it because it's a salt? Mixed amphetamine salts? Mixed amphetamine salts sounds like the most delightful menu item at a fancy restaurant. What do you want, Kitty? You want more food? You have food at your plate. Yeah, that's your brother's plate. It's empty and he's not here at the moment. Because he still needs to be picked up from the veterinarian. Why don't you eat off of your plate instead, Kitty? Everybody want to see Kitty? Here's Kitty. Right there. There's kitty number 1, Capillo. Kitty number 2, our second cat that we have, came second in order of being my cat, so it's kitty number 2. Is Trouble, and he's at the veterinarian's right now. We'll have to go pick him up when Rachel wakes up. Or I'm planning on actually getting her up in about 5 minutes. Or at least asking her if she wants to go. She doesn't have to go with me. I can go by myself. Hey, kitty. Do you want to go outside? Do you want to go outside? No. All right. Yes? Yes or no? She just wants to stand in the door. In or out, kitty? In or out? In or out? She's very indecisive kitty. My kitty has indecisive cat syndrome. I think all cats have indecisive cat syndrome, you know? Yeah, I don't know what she thinks about it. She seems to be like kind of happy that he's not here, but she's still behaving the same way, like in the sense that she's still going to the same places. She doesn't seem to be freed up to go to more places. She hasn't slept with us at all. She doesn't really like sleeping with people. She could sleep with me, probably, if it were just she and I. But since Trouble sleeps with me. What's a central nervous system depressant? Oh, I believe you, Joe H. I don't doubt you. Something is off with this guy's biceps, says Legendary Master. Really? What's up with my biceps? I've got fine biceps. See? See my bicepial muscles? You think that's not good enough for something? Too bad. That's how much biceps I have. There. What a muscle workout guy I am, huh? No, it is biceps. Okay, well, if there's something off with my biceps, so it goes. I just don't have very much biceps, I guess. I don't know, a couple of push-ups. I don't feel like competing in the bicep Olympics anyway. Should we give the woodland friends some food? You want to? Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's give the woodland friends some food. All right. Oh, it smells like plants so much out here. All right, let's go. Let's put some cutlets. There you go, you little cutlet lovers. Hi. Security checks, huh? This has been security checked. This stuff's legal. Why are you security checking my package? I think I know what this is. I guess they did open it up. Wow, this will be interesting. I'll show you what I got here. My dad hated the squirrels when they ate his peaches. He had a BB gun and shoot at them. Look what I got. A couple of these things. What is this? This stuff is called... He had an abscess, Lou. He had an abscess where he had been bitten. Something bit him. They saw a couple little tooth marks, puncture marks or whatever, but they couldn't say what it was exactly that bit him. It wasn't big, so I'm thinking raccoon probably. Or if there are possums up here, maybe a possum. So I got this stuff. Skeletinium tortuosum extract, 5%. This is snuff. You're supposed to snort it, and this stuff is called Hannah, I think. There's a video that I watched on the various legal kind of highs you can get. That encouraged me to get this stuff. But we'll try it out later on. Not today. We gotta go to Merced first, you know. So we'll give that a try and see how it goes. We'll try it first. No, I'm not taking any drugs at the moment. It's called Hannah, I think. Hanna. Let me get the video. Let me get up the video that I watched that encouraged me to get this. That also showed the place where I got it from. Like, he said where he got it. So, hi, Just Colonel. Canna is what it's called. Sorry. Kanna. Let me get it timestamped. All right, so here, share, copy. I started this, copy. All right, here's a link to it, okay? Hi, Sag Sybil, hi. I sell them on my page. You sell what on your page? It's canna. It's actually canna. It's pronounced kana. Okay. So I put the link to the video that convinced me to get this stuff and try it out. We're not gonna try it until we get back from Merced. My package got opened by the delivery people and checked for security. Well, so I don't know, but they didn't stop it from getting to me because it's legal. You know, that's the whole point of it, is that it's perfectly legal. That way you can't get into any trouble. Okay, so now I gotta go back outside because I left the garage door open. Hi, Squirrel. We got some takers for the seeds already, of course. This one looks kind of tore up, this squirrel. I think this squirrel may be a fentanyl addict. I don't mean to judge, Squirrel, but you do look pretty tore up. It's like comb your hair or something, why don't you? In comparison, this squirrel looks all nice and fresh. She's a she. She's fresh, exciting. She's so exciting and new. You can see how exciting and new she is. What a good squirrel, huh? That's the kind of squirrel you take home to mother and say, look at this cool squirrel I have. The other squirrel, you don't want to show your relatives a squirrel. What's going on with that squirrel? Does it even have a tail? It's so ratty looking. This squirrel looks so healthy. That squirrel looks so ratty. I closed the garage door and all the squirrels got scared. Oh well. So I think it's time to get Rachel up. It's 11:10. We can ask. It's a bit of a sausage party in here right now. I agree. Goblin, everybody else. I agree. Jacob Gristlebottom says Coke or Pepsi. Well, I actually prefer Coke, but I have Pepsi, but I don't have a strong preference either way. No, we don't have any ketamine. It's this stuff called Kana or something like that. Canna, I don't know. If you Google, if you YouTube search legal highs, for me anyway, that was the first video that popped up. You can go outside, sure. Gone now. Forgot my cup out here. Don't bother the woodland friends. Let them eat their cutlets in peace. Of course she wants to bother the woodland friends. Thanks, Vuk Hay. Yeah, I too lament the reality of the sausage party that this place periodically becomes, but you know, one can't uh, one can't choose one's audience, I suppose. So let's see what Rachel's thoughts are about going with me or not. Because if she doesn't want to go with me, if she just wants to sleep in, then I could go by myself right now. Sleeping like a little angel. Mm. Mm. I just can't really bring myself to wake her up. I like the movie Sausage Party. Do you, John? I've never seen it. How big is it? I have no idea what you could possibly be referring to, Bradley's builds. How big is the moon? Just big enough to precisely or approximately precisely block out the sun during a full lunar eclipse or solar eclipse. Lunar eclipse? I don't know. What do I look like? An eclipse master? I'm not. What do I know about eclipses? I watched a video about eclipses yesterday on YouTube. That was pretty good. I like that meta guy too, Rubinar. Now I know who you're talking about. You're talking about the legal highs guy. Yeah. So good for him. Yeah, I never look at one unless you got special glasses. They're designed to make it safe. All right, so how long should we wait till we wake up Rachel and find out if she's going with us or not? She could choose to just stay here, and then I could just go and get this done right now. These are the tricky tricks of which we do not know. I think you'd like the guy, Lou. I do. I think you'd like Meta. Metta. He's a young guy who the thing I watched was this video where he tries the different legal highs out, and I thought it was a great video. I thought it was very informative. I felt like I clearly understood at the end of it that there's only really one of them that was worth trying, the one I got. It says that there's 500 milligrams in there and the dosage is 25 milligrams. So if that's the case, it means there's 20 bumps in one of those. So hi from Russia, Poma. How are you doing? Strasby. I don't even know how to say hello in Russian anymore. I can just say thank you. I think Strasby is thank you, right? Yeah, he's cool. He's I don't know what type he is. It's hard to say. Seems like he might be an NTP of some kind. I could see him as an ENTP possibly. He certainly is an enthusiast of various substances, but he doesn't drink any alcohol. So, that sounds familiar. Oh, kitty drinking water. What a silly girl. Drinking water. Okay, we're going to have to find out if I got to get this show on the road. I don't. It's going to take a full hour to get there. So, and then we got to do a couple errands before we go get trouble. I don't want to make them wait all day. So, I think I might have another poop on the way, though. That's excellent news. If I do, then that's going to make everything a lot better. We could play a game of trivia. Well, bump is just a small amount that you snort of whatever. You could do a bump of whatever. Insufflating, it's called in the medical community. In the medical community, you don't snort things, you insufflate. All right. Here's a trivia game. What country is named after a bird we eat at Thanksgiving? What do you think? Anybody know the answer? What country is named after a bird that we eat at Thanksgiving? Hungary. No, close. Good guess, though, Ruben. Okay. Yes, that's correct. You got it right, navigator friend. It is Turkey. Okay. Now, here's another one. What country rhymes with Bargentina? All right, here's a real trivia question. Sanskrit is most associated with what religion? Sanskrit is most associated with what religion? Oh, no, 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 no. Oh, no, no, no. The answer is Hinduism. If you guessed Hindu, you're correct. Well, that was good. I did a good job. I pooped a lot of poops. I feel like I pooped pretty much all my poop. I'm proud of myself. After that unsatisfactory pre-poop that I had earlier, this is just a triumph, a real triumph. All right, here's a good trivia question for you. Which fashion designer, which still exists today, was responsible for most of the Nazi uniforms, but not the black SS ones, the famous black SS ones? There's a trivia question. Does anybody know the answer to this question? This is something I learned yesterday watching a video. The answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. The answer is, in fact, Hugo Boss. Yes, Ruben got it right. Hugo Boss. John suggests one smoke weed on the toilet to help. The cough will help me poop. Well, I successfully pooped that time without any further assistance. You knew that one actually, huh? I just learned that yesterday. So, here's kind of a curious reality. What year did humans first land on Mars? Or send something to land on Mars. They didn't land themselves. Now they make suits. Do they? I don't know if I have any Hugo Boss stuff. Well, John, you're close. You'd think it would be later than this, but it was 1971, where Russians successfully got something landed on Mars in 1971. And the Russians had a very active space program. They were still sending stuff to Venus in the 80s. Yeah, the Soviets really kind of kicked our ass across the board in the whole space exploration front. I thought that was earlier than I would have guessed, right? As you can see by the guesses here, people wouldn't imagine it would be that early. They showed the tech too. It was like, it had a little. It was It was interesting. I also watched a video uh, yesterday about the purported plans to land on the moon that America has that just make no sense, and the ridiculousness of the SpaceX notion. Red Menacing Burb says they did send a bunch of different animals. Well, yeah, it's unfortunate, but whatever. No, I didn't see Putin's warnings. Gravity on the moon is almost the same as on Earth. Not that much difference, true. A little less. You should go poo. All right, I need to check with Rachel because we need to get this show on the road one way or another. Now that I fully pooed, I'm ready to motivate. So let's go check on the wife. See if she's still sleeping like a little angel like she was last time. Go see. Go sneak in on her. How do you wake up a precious angel like that? I don't know. I can't wake her up. She's too precious to wake. I just can't seem to bring myself to wake her up. She seems so comfortable, you know? I know I need to wake her up. We need to go to Merced, but she seems so happily asleep. As you can see how adorable she is as she's sleeping. How am I supposed to wake her up? No, since Trevor's not been here the last few days, we've been sleeping together, crazily enough. It kind of makes me want to kick him out of the bed so we can sleep together during the night. We've slept just fine together every night he's not been here. You're being gross. Is this a thing, 265? Yeah, I'm with Ruben on that. Smoking that EDP pack where he got caught. What's an EDP pack? Well, it doesn't matter if you're being honest or not. It's still gross and I don't want to hear about it. I see there's a video on called smoking that EDP pack where he got caught in 2021. I'm not keeping Palestine hostage. Okay, you need to talk to the Israelis. You're talking to the wrong guy. All right? I am not in charge of Palestine. I have nothing to do with Palestine. ADP 445 is a Philly Eagles fan who was a YouTuber who got caught trying to meet up with a kid for a cupcake. So I guess he's making an accusation that I'm somehow engaged in predatory behavior. In that case, definitely get timed out. Hi, sir. How are you? I'm from India. Hi, India. I'm from California, America. Okay, I don't have Biden's phone number, okay? Just because I'm an American doesn't mean I have any particular say in our public policy as just a regular citizen. Wonder how the coffee's coming along. I'm just gonna have to wake up Rachel here. This is ridiculous. I can't just walk around the house indefinitely waiting for her to wake up. Thanks, Surihari VP. I appreciate it. So I have no desire to meet up with anybody for anything illicit at all. Little desire to meet up with anybody, period, but sometimes it's fun. Like Ruben and Acacia came and visited us. Of course, they're both in their 30s, full grown adults, etc. And we just hung out and stuff. There's no weirdness involved, right? Rachel and I are happily married, monogamous couple who have zero interest in engaging anybody else in our sexualness, you know? Ridiculously, but fantastically, and not incorrectly. Everybody says my wife looks like she's in her 20s, even though she's 39 years old. The coffee's done. I look like Johnny Depp with this hat. Personal. I'll take personal. I can do political or personal, but give me personal today if I get any choice. Thank you for asking me. Thank you for giving me a choice. I appreciate it. Yeah, Acacia's got INFP sometimes in the chat. She's like the dictionary is INFP. She's got INFP turned up to 11. Sup, SA? Meet me in the alley. I got some Four Loco. Here, Lamb, I don't want any Four Loco. I'm 53. I'm 53 and my wife's 39. Hi, Lori G. So I'm going to have to wake up my spectacular precious angel. Hi, Queen Pookie. I would say hello to you regardless of what you said. Wonderful horseshoe, good evening. And here, Lamb, because I don't drink alcohol, and Four Loco has alcohol in it. That's why. And I prefer you call me Lil Payaso. Lil Payaso. Okay, let's go see about Rachel. Shh, be quiet, everybody. She's sleeping. I really feel like I should at least kind of wake her up a little bit here. I guess I'll just leave her alone for a minute. I don't know. She seems pretty fast asleep, like she's not even though I'm like live streaming stuff out here and talking, and she just seems fully asleep. I don't think she's faking it or anything. So I don't know. I'm gonna have to get her up by noon, not a second later than noon. Noon, we get the cat by 2. If we leave here at noon, so I'm gonna have to get her up like 11:45 at the latest. I believe it, Ruben R. She's got plenty of extroverted intuition in her pockets. If I were a Pokemon, So, um, Srihari VP says, "Sir, my question is about myself. I'm educated, have a good, well-paying job, well settled, but I'm not happy. Would you help me out, please?" No, we have to go get him today. We have to pick him up today. Uh, I don't know. I'm not necessarily always happy either, and there's nothing to make me unhappy. Yesterday, I was filled with anxiety. Hi, squiggle, squiggle, squiggle. Hi to ha hot me. Squiggle, squiggle, squaggle to you too. Um, for me, it's usually about sleep. If I'm running a sleep deficit, then I start getting anxious, feeling stressed and worried, having dark kinds of thoughts, etc. I tend to say I hate myself a lot when I'm in that kind of mood. It's like I woke up saying that kind of this morning. I got up and it's like a verbal tick, like a Tourette's thing. Anyway, so you're not necessarily asking somebody who has the answer for himself accordingly. To the extent that I have any answer, what would it? You should take it with a grain of salt, right? But I would say that for me, it tends to correlate strongly with sleep. If I got enough sleep, then I'm in a good positive state of mind. And if I'm running a sleep deficit, then I am getting negative. Sometimes I get fussy if it's been a while since I've had sex, and I tend to be kind of unconscious about those kinds of things. Like I don't, it can sneak up on me. Like, why am I feeling irritated in this weird way at Rachel? And then I go, okay, you're not irritated. You just desire. You need to hump, you know. And so that in that case, that one's a lot easier to solve. I don't know if you're a troll or not, Glenn Spence. You are what you are. Okay, you are Glenn Spence. Behave as you behave. I will react accordingly. I'm not somebody who's fixated on what happened before. If you had just come in here and started talking, I wouldn't have even recalled that there was something that happened last time you were here, probably. But anyway, I don't want to hate myself. Some of the things that make me say I hate myself, almost all of them are bad memories. Sometimes memories from childhood of me being mean to somebody else or mistakes I've made in the past. Sometimes it's about stuff going on right now, like I'm avoiding my email. I hate myself. Well, I shouldn't really hate myself on such little grounds, in my opinion. So, accordingly, I'm trying to. I mean, I get it that I'm a sinner. I have sinned. I've done bad things in my life, and I feel remorse about them. But I think, I think I've paid enough in terms of suffering over the years for my previous mistakes. At some point, you got to be able to forgive yourself and try to let it go. It's hard to be if you're attached to, like, I mean, if you have a certain relationship with your memories, that relationship is probably going to be consistent across your lifetime. But I've got bad habits. Bad habits that go back to the time when I was drinking alcohol, when I would say a lot of horrible things to myself all the time, which I guess I deserved because after all, I was a drunk and it was destroying me. Not in any practical way. I didn't seem to impact um, my ability to succeed at work and stuff like that. But it wasn't good. Does junk food affect your mood? No. What happened with your girl? She's sleeping right now. What do you mean, what happened with her? I don't know what you're talking about. Goblin says people make mistakes as part of life. As long as someone tries to genuinely change, they shouldn't be too harsh on themselves. Well, yeah, I agree, and yet, depending, I'm very much subject to my moods, and my moods are they link a lot to my my taking care of myself, eating enough at the right time, sleeping enough, etc. I should probably get more exercise if I were going to really feel good most of the time. Hi, Dania. How's it going? So I really do need to get Rachel up and at least find out if she's going to go with me or not. It's 11:45. She's going to need to wake up here and tell me something about that. Rachel? Hi, darling. How's it going?
Good.
Do you want to go with me to Merced?
What time is it?
It's about noon. It's quarter till noon.
Oh, yeah, I do.
Okay. We can get like in and out or something there. If we leave by around noon, then we could get in and out, go to the weed store, and still get trouble by no later than 2. We're supposed to get them no later than 4, but I'd like to get there a little earlier than that.
Okay.
Okay, cool. So take about 15 minutes to get ready. There's coffee, fresh coffee. All right, so Precious Angel is going to go with me. I will try to take good care of myself, Dania. I do try to, but I'm not always successful. Anything other than Jesus Christ's grace is not the dogma of redeemed by grace. Um. Okay. Well, the point is, Jeremiah fix is not that. That's really not the point. I I believe that I am forgiven in some sense, right? But among those forgiving me is not myself really. So I mean, I definitely am too harsh on myself, especially for stuff that I can't do anything about, right? Like stuff that happened when I was a kid. I can't do it. There's nothing I could possibly do about that. So either or asks Eric, are you the last hope left to save humanity? It's quite possible. Yeah, it's very possible. And hopefully, I'll be elected president in the next election cycle. I will do my best to save humanity. You get number over time as you drink alcohol. I mean, drinking a lot was very hard on me physically. My body, I was hungover all the time. You know, I was either hungover or drunk. Hungover at work or drunk at home. Nowadays, it's like such a long time from that horrible time that it's easy for me to forget how great it is just to be able to wake up in the morning and not feel like puking my guts out and feel horrible, right? What a wonderful gift that is. So I don't drink alcohol for a very good reason. It wrecked me in so many different ways. After becoming president, will you allow porn 24/7 in Times Square? No. No, I don't smoke cigarettes anymore, Dania. I quit about a little more than a month ago. I don't remember exactly how long ago, but and it is somewhat challenging, but less challenging than I expected. I got these vapes, these nicotine vapes that I hit sometimes. Do I believe in ghosts? I'm not sure. I don't know. It's a tough question. I think that it makes sense that there's some energy that animates a living person that has to go somewhere upon death that may not be instantaneously dissipated or something like that. I'm not sure. Do I believe that there's something after life? Again, I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't think anybody knows. So I don't think it's really possible for us to know because nobody who's nobody's ever really truly been dead, permanently dead, and come back to life. Yeah, I have watched some near death experience videos. Um, they can be somewhat convincing that the death experience, you know, you think that if human beings were simply biological engines with a happenstance emergent effect of consciousness or something like that, right? That there'd be no reason for there to be any kind of death experience beyond just the secession of consciousness. But I don't know. I don't know. Life's so magical. Everything is so magical. It's hard to believe that there's not something magical going on. Do I did give attention to your comments. I've been talking about Srihari VP. I've been talking about my belief in ghosts since you asked it, and then transitioned into life after death naturally. So I am giving attention to your comments, and good for you living in Canada. So memories of your grandma are still haunting you. Look, I mean, the thing is, we're asked to believe that human beings are the result of an evolutionary process. Um, that the way we are is because somehow there were advantages to some kind of mutation accumulated over time into increased complexity, a bunch of other things, right? But but essentially, then what science is saying is understand human consciousness, human beings, as having fundamentally no purpose in the universe, as just being a phenomenon that occurs like any other. It's hard to imagine so complex a a thing as human consciousness as just kind of emerging naturally from from evolutionary processes. I mean, obviously, I don't put any weight whatsoever in evolution because I don't believe it explains a mechanism that actually explains anything, right? So it fails to explain speciation, and that's why I don't affirm it at all. But even if one wanted to affirm it, right? Even if one wanted to say like, okay, evolution's responsible for everything, it's hard to imagine a scenario in which this kind of philosophizing, for example, is advantageous to in any kind of evolutionary sense, right? Do I still do reading? I read, sure. What size do I wear? I don't know what size t-shirt this is. I'm 6'5", so I'm 6'5", 180. You need an exorcism. You're very helpless. I don't know. Well, if you think you're being haunted, watch how you're spelling. Hi, Poma. Hi, Russia. Welcome to California, America. So we're going to give Rachel a moment or two here to get herself ready. Are you more or less ready? Or is
Yeah.
That your way? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll give you a couple minutes to drink your coffee then.
Thanks. Do we have anything that I could put it in to go on the road? We did, didn't we?
Yeah, there's a cup in the cupboard. Evolution of the mind, not the body. Yeah, well, evolution of the mind, I agree, stems from the accumulated knowledge and building on top of that that people are capable of doing. That, in other words, that the kind of analysis that I'm doing right here is empowered by my having been able to do a meta-analysis of a bunch of other people's attempts at analysis from before. Hi, Imna Hernandez. Well, I don't know how to help you with your ghost problem, Srihari VP. I'm not a ghost hunter or anything. Goblin says it could be related to a DMT release as well. Yeah, I understand that people do that at death, potentially. I don't know. The question of why are we all here and how did we become what we are as biological creatures is incredibly challenging question to address. The evolution of the mind thing, the other thing to note is the ancient Greeks were also philosophizing, right? So it's hard to say how far back philosophizing goes and what it was predicated upon. Like, what exactly did the ancient Greeks predicate their philosophizing upon? What about stadium lights for indoors? What even is being in the first place? Right. So if you're going to ask what is being, in other words, what is existence, then you'd say it's for humans, it's usually a persistent self across time attending in a variety of ways. One could imagine the universe being rendered on each individual's computer independently, right? Like each individual is a renderer of the reality they're observing and experiencing as they're observing and experiencing it for their own conceptual purposes. You think that humans were genetically engineered by higher beings? That seems plausible. Seems more plausible than evolution. There are certainly plenty of people who believe in panspermia, which says that life was brought here to Earth on meteors and stuff like that. Which just kind of pushes back the question of how life actually begins to another planet that we can't observe and therefore can't make any speculation about, you know. So are you ready to go?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to wrap this up. And Rachel and I, here's my beloved, beautiful angel, Rachel.
Aww, thank you.
Of course, darling. We're going to go to Merced and pick up our cat Trouble.
It'll be good to see him.
So we'll be back with our kitty later. Until then, we love you all. See you later.